What happens when a tech-savvy black homeowner sets up Wi-Fi in his own house, only to be accused of interfering with the neighborhood by a woman who isn't even his HOA president? Meet HOA Karen, armed with privilege, ignorance, and a grudge. She called the cops to shut him down, but what she didn't know would flip the entire neighborhood against her. When software engineer Malik Thomas moved to the quaint suburban neighborhood of Kanaleneiland in Utrecht, Netherlands, he thought he'd found the perfect escape. After years of grinding away in London's tech scene, the promise of cobblestone streets, serene canals, and a slower pace of life felt like a dream. His new rental, a sleek, modern townhouse with floor-to-ceiling windows, was a far cry from the cramped flat he'd left behind. Malik, a 32-year-old black man with a sharp mind and a quiet demeanor, craved peace. What he didn't expect was a war over Wi-Fi. It started innocently enough. On his second day, Malik set up his home office, dual monitors, a high-speed router, and a VPN for his remote job at a cybersecurity firm. The internet was blazing fast, exactly what he needed to debug code and hop on video calls with clients across the globe. He'd just settled into his ergonomic chair, sipping a coffee, when the doorbell rang. Standing on his doorstep was a woman in her late 50s, her blonde bob perfectly coiffed, her lips pursed into a thin line. She wore a pastel cardigan and clutched a clipboard like it was a weapon. "I'm Karen Vandermeer," she announced, her Dutch accent clipped and authoritative. "Chair of the Homeowners Association. We need to talk about your equipment." Malik blinked. "My equipment?" "The internet," she snapped, peering past him as if expecting to see a server farm in his living room. "Since you moved in, my Wi-Fi's been sluggish. I run a very important online book club, and I won't have it disrupted by whatever you're doing." He forced a polite smile. "I'm just using the standard provider package. Maybe it's a coincidence?" Karen's eyes narrowed. "Coincidence? I don't think so. I've lived here for 15 years, and this has never happened until you showed up." Her tone dripped with suspicion, and Malik felt the first prick of unease. He'd dealt with microaggressions before. London wasn't exactly a utopia, but this felt different. Personal. "I can check my setup if it'll help," he offered, keeping his voice steady. "I'm a software engineer. I know networks." She scoffed. "Oh, I'm sure you do. Just keep it under control." With that, she spun on her heel and marched back to her house across the street, her clipboard swinging like a guillotine. Malik shook it off. He'd met worse neighbors. But the next morning, his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Stop stealing my Wi-Fi, or I'll report you." He stared at it, incredulous. Stealing Wi-Fi? He ran a quick scan on his laptop. His network was secure, WPA3 encrypted, and Karen's signal didn't even overlap with his. This wasn't a tech issue. It was a Karen issue. By day 3, the situation escalated. Malik was mid-call with a client when he heard sirens. He glanced out the window to see a police van pulling up outside his house. 2 officers stepped out, followed by Karen, gesturing wildly. His stomach sank. "I'll call you back," he muttered to his client, ending the call as the doorbell rang again, this time with a heavy knock. "Mr. Thomas?" One officer, a tall man with a buzz cut, asked when Malik opened the door. "We've had a complaint about illegal internet activity." Malik's jaw tightened. "Illegal? I work in cybersecurity. I'm not hacking anything." Karen piped up from behind them, her voice shrill. "He's been siphoning my Wi-Fi. I know how these people operate, always sneaking around, taking what's not theirs. I caught him red-handed." The second officer, a younger woman with a skeptical frown, raised an eyebrow. "Caught him? How?" Karen faltered. "Well, I felt it. My Zoom froze yesterday, and he's the only new person here." Malik crossed his arms, forcing himself to stay calm. "Officers, I'm happy to show you my setup. My network's locked down. She's got no evidence because there is none. The male officer sighed. Mind if we take a look anyway? Just to clear this up? Be my guest, Malik said, stepping aside. He led them to his office, where his equipment sat innocently on the desk. The female officer, who introduced herself as Officer Decker, peered at the router while her partner, Officer Jansen, scribbled notes. Malik explained his job, his credentials, even pulled up his network logs to show 0 unauthorized activity. Decker nodded slowly. This looks clean. Mr. Thomas, do you have any certifications we can verify? Malik hesitated, then grabbed his laptop and logged into his company portal. Here's my profile. I'm a senior engineer at XAI, Cybersecurity Division. You can call my boss if you want. Johnson's eyes widened slightly. XAI? The AI firm? Yeah, Malik said, leaning back. We're not exactly small time. Karen, hovering in the doorway, bristled. That doesn't prove anything. He could still be... Ma'am, Decker cut in, her tone firm. There's no evidence of wrongdoing here. His network's secure. Maybe your provider's having issues. Karen's face reddened. This is outrageous. I've lived here longer than he has. You're taking his side? We're not taking sides, Johnson said. We're following facts. As the officers turned to leave, Decker paused, glancing at Malik. You're not what I expected from her description, she said quietly. Sorry about this. Malik nodded, a bitter taste in his mouth. Happens more than you'd think. But Karen wasn't done. Over the next week, she turned the neighborhood into a battlefield. Flyers appeared in mailboxes, accusing a certain newcomer of disrupting our community. Whispers followed Malik at the local grocery store. A group of older residents glared at him from their porches. It wasn't just about Wi-Fi anymore. It was about him. His skin. His presence. Then came the breaking point. Malik thought the police visit would be the end of it. He was wrong. By the following Monday, Karen had escalated her crusade. She'd rallied a small posse of HOA loyalists, mostly retirees with too much time and not enough sense, and they'd taken to patrolling the street like vigilantes. Malik caught them peering into his windows one evening, whispering about suspicious cables. He pulled the curtains shut, his frustration simmering into anger. This wasn't peace. This was a siege. The breaking point came on Wednesday. Malik was debugging a critical security patch for XAI when his doorbell rang yet again. He ignored it, focusing on his screen, until the ringing turned into pounding. With a sigh, he trudged downstairs and opened the door to find Karen, flanked by 2 of her cronies, an older man with a permanent scowl and a woman clutching a phone like she was recording evidence. You've gone too far this time, Karen barked, jabbing a finger at him. My internet's completely down now and I know it's you. Malik rubbed his temples. Karen, I've shown the police my setup. I'm not touching your Wi-Fi. Call your provider. Don't you dare tell me what to do, she shrieked. I've already called them, and they said there's nothing wrong on their end. That leaves you and your hacking. The word hit like a slap. Hacking. It wasn't just absurd, it was personal. Malik had spent his career fighting hackers, protecting systems, proving himself in a field where people like him were often underestimated. And here was this woman, turning his expertise into an accusation. I'm not a hacker, he said, voice low and controlled. I'm a professional. Maybe you should check your own router before pointing fingers. Her eyes flashed with indignation. Oh, I've checked everything. This started the day you moved in, and I won't let some outsider ruin my life. The word hung in the air, heavy with unspoken venom. Her cronies nodded, muttering agreement. Malik's patience snapped. Outsider? I've got a lease, same as you. What's this really about, Karen? She froze, caught off guard, then doubled down. It's about respect, something you clearly don't understand. With that, she stormed off, her posse trailing behind. But Malik knew this wasn't over. That night, he vented to his friend Aisha over a video call. She's unhinged, he said, pacing his living room. It's not even about Wi-Fi. She's got it out for me. Aisha, a blunt data analyst from London, frowned. Sounds like she's projecting. Bet she's mad you're young, black, and successful in her little white bread bubble. You should fight back. Expose her. I just want to live here, Malik sighed. Not start a war. Too late for that, mate, Aisha replied. She's already firing shots. She was right. The next morning, Malik woke to a crowd outside his house. Karen had called a neighborhood meeting right on his doorstep. 20-odd residents stood in the street, clutching coffee mugs and murmuring. Karen held court, megaphone in hand, her voice echoing off the townhouses. This man, she declared, pointing at Malik's door, is a threat to our community. He's sabotaging our internet, invading our privacy, and who knows what else. We deserve to feel safe. Malik stepped outside, arms crossed, his heart pounding. That's a lie, he called out, loud enough to cut through her rant. I've done nothing wrong. She's got no proof because there is none. The crowd shifted, some looking uncomfortable, others nodding at Karen. A gray-haired man piped up. My Wi-Fi's been slow too. Maybe she's right. Or maybe your provider sucks, Malik shot back. I'm not your scapegoat. Karen smirked. We'll see about that. I've called the police again, and the local news. This ends today. Sure enough, a news van rolled up minutes later, followed by the same two officers from before. The reporter, a young woman with a microphone, hopped out, scanning the scene. We're live in Canalan Island, she began, where a dispute over internet access has sparked tensions. Malik's stomach churned. This was a circus now, a public shaming. He caught Officer Decker's eye as she approached. She's claiming you've hacked the whole neighborhood, Decker said, sounding tired. We need to search again. Go ahead, Malik said, stepping aside. But this is harassment. As the officers entered, the crowd pressed closer, phones out, filming. Karen stood triumphant, feeding the reporter a tale of victimhood. He's been targeting me specifically, she claimed. I think it's personal. The reporter turned to Malik. Sir, any response? He took a deep breath. I'm a cybersecurity engineer. I protect networks, not break them. This is a misunderstanding, or something worse. The something worse lingered, and the reporter's eyes sharpened. Are you suggesting bias? I'm suggesting facts matter, Malik said. Check hers. Inside, Decker and Johnson finished their search. Still nothing, Jansen muttered. But then Decker's radio crackled, a call from dispatch. She listened, her expression shifting from boredom to surprise. Mr. Thomas, she said, stepping closer. We just got a hit on your name. You're flagged, but not how you'd think. Malik frowned. Flagged? You're a consultant for Europol, she said, almost to herself. Cybercrime Division. Why didn't you mention that? The air shifted. Malik straightened. I don't advertise it. It's contract work, mostly remote. Didn't think it was relevant. Decker stared at him, then at Karen, who'd overheard and gone pale. Relevant? It changes everything. The revelation hit like a thunderclap. The crowd hushed. The reporter's jaw dropped, and Karen's megaphone slipped in her hand. Malik Thomas wasn't just some tech guy. He was tied to Europol, the EU's elite law enforcement agency. The officers exchanged a glance, and Decker stepped forward, addressing the onlookers. This man's credentials check out, she said, voice firm. He's not a suspect. He's a specialist. If anyone's got evidence of wrongdoing, bring it now. Otherwise, this stops. No one spoke. The gray-haired man shuffled back, suddenly interested in his shoes. The reporter pivoted, shoving her mic at Karen. Ms. Vandermeer, you accused him of hacking. Any proof? Karen stammered. I felt it. My internet— Feelings aren't facts, the reporter pressed. He works with Europol. Are you saying they're wrong about him? The crowd murmured, doubt creeping in. Karen's cronies edged away, abandoning her. She glared at Malik, her face a mask of fury and humiliation. This isn't over, she hissed, then stormed off, the megaphone dangling uselessly. The news segment aired that night, painting Karen as a paranoid instigator and Malik as a wronged professional. Social media erupted. Some locals defended Karen, calling it a misunderstanding, but most condemned her, citing her dog whistle rhetoric. Outsider, they noted, wasn't subtle. Malik didn't gloat. He sat in his office, staring at the screen where XAI's CEO had emailed him. Heard about your drama. Take a week off. Paid. You've earned it. Aisha texted too. Told you to fight back. Karma's a queen. Over the next days, the neighborhood shifted. Some residents avoided Malik's gaze. Others offered sheepish apologies. A young couple down the street brought him a pie, mumbling about Karen's nonsense. But the tension lingered, quiet, unspoken, a reminder that peace was fragile. Karen stayed silent, her blinds drawn. Rumors swirled she'd resigned from the HOA, but no one knew for sure. Malik didn't care. He'd won, sort of, but the victory felt hollow. This wasn't about Wi-Fi or even Karen. It was about the assumptions she'd wielded like weapons, the ones too many still carried. One evening, as he walked along the canal, Officer Decker approached. Off duty, she said, hands in her pockets. Just wanted to say, I get it. My brother's Surinamese. He's had his share of Karens. Malik nodded. Appreciate it. Think she'll back off? Maybe, Decker said. But people like her don't change. They just get quieter. He looked out at the water, reflecting the dusk. Guess I'll keep my router locked then. She laughed, a small, real sound. Smart man. Back home, Malik powered up his laptop. A new Europol case pinged. Cyber fraud in Amsterdam. He cracked his knuckles, diving in. Karen faded to background noise. Life moved on. But across the street, a curtain twitched. Karen watched, silent. Her clipboard now a list of names. Neighbors who'd turned on her. Malik wasn't the end of her war. He was just the beginning. The story ends on a high note. Malik triumphs, his dignity intact, but leaves threads dangling. Karen's next move, the neighborhood's quiet unease, Malik's future battles, all linger, inviting reflection. Racism isn't vanquished. It's exposed, challenged, and forced to retreat, if only for now. Real, logical, and human, it mirrors the world we navigate daily.